Hey guys, hopefully that lab went well. I saw a bunch of people did it. And if you didn't do it, I will be posting my data so you can use my data to do the work today. If you did do it, um, I recommend using your own data because it's more interesting to learn about your own house, or taking the time to go and do that lab experiment. I think it actually is kind of cool. It gets you away from the computer for a little bit and hopefully will be interesting to do. Okay, so today we're going to take the data we collected and we're going to process it. We're going to turn it into a way that we can start using it to see patterns and to make like statements about the world. So we are going to the first thing we almost always do when we have a data table is we make a graph. Okay, so I'm going to make a graph that works for my data. And I looked at the data that everyone else collected, and I think that data, it should also work for your data. But if you go above 15 cups after 10 seconds, so if your 10-second mark has more than 15 cups of water in it, you might need to make one of your bars longer. Okay, and I'll show you which bar it will be. Okay, and so because we don't have graph paper and because I can't print you out anything, you guys are gonna have to scale your axes yourself. And so I know I'm only going to be going up to 50 or up to 10 seconds. I'm not gonna graph that 20-second one because otherwise this is gonna be a massive graph. And so the first thing I'm gonna think about is kind of how long this needs to be. And I know that I only get up to 9 cups, and so I could make this only go up to 9 or 10, but I'm going to show you how to make one that goes up to 15 because I saw that some people had ones that went up larger than me. And so I'm going to make each of these lines worth 1 cup. Okay, so so I'm going to count down to see where I need to start my line. And so if I make 15 this top one, that makes 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. And I'm just going to write in that 10 to like remind me where it is so I don't have to recount. But I'm not going to write in the other numbers because it's going to start getting like clustered. Okay. 11. Nope, I'm counting down, not up. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay? And this is going to represent cups of water. Okay, and I recommend you having a notebook out right now and following along in this work because you are going to have to make this graph. And so if you're just going to make it with me, that will be the easiest way to do it. Okay. And then we are comparing cups of water to the number of seconds. Okay? So, and this is where I wish I had graph paper because then I could have little nice lines going in both directions. But because I don't, I am going to eyeball it a little bit. If you have a ruler and you want to use a ruler, go ahead. Okay, so we're going to say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? 1, 2, okay. I'm going to write in each number for this one, mainly because I'm better at writing numbers sideways than down. And so I don't think that looks that messy. If you want to write in every other number, feel free to kind of adjust that how you want, as long as the distance between 1 and 0 is the same as the distance between 1 and 2, because those are the same amount different. They need to be the same distance on a number line. Okay, so now that I have my axes set out, I am going to start plotting my data. And I'm going to start by plotting my kitchen sink data. And again, this is rough data, and so it's okay if I'm plotting it a little roughly. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact, but I do want to be as precise as I can. So I'm not throwing things down willy-nilly. I'm being careful, okay? So at 1 second, I'm at 0.9, which is just a little bit above 1. Remember, I go, oh, I forgot to label this axis. So this is number of seconds. That's supposed to be a C. Okay, so then I'm looking at 2 seconds, so I go over 1, 2, and it's 1.5. So I'm going to go up to 1, and then I'm going to go in between my 1 and my 0.5. Okay, 3 seconds. It's a little bit above 2. And so I'm going to go to 2. Okay, I'm going to keep moving here. When you are graphing, I want you to graph your data, okay? So I'm going to graph mine, you graph your data. And now that I've gone to 5 seconds, I don't have a 6-second mark. I don't even have a 7-second mark, but I do have a 10-second mark. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to graph my 10-second mark. I'm going to go all the way over to 10, and then I'm going to go up to 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can also fall this over, and I see that I'm at 5, and then between 5 and 6. Okay, so I have a set of data here, and this data is looking really good because it's making a nice line. Okay, and I'm actually then going to draw my line of best fit. If yours doesn't make a perfect line, that's okay. Remember, we're finding a line that kind of averages out. It's not a connect the dots. We're averaging out. And so we do need something that's straight, okay? And so if you don't have a ruler, that's fine. My favorite way to make something, to have something that's straight, is just to find a piece of paper and to fold it twice. You could fold it once, but it doesn't quite make a sturdy enough ruler. This here is something that's straight, and it's so easy to make at any point. Okay, and so I'm going to do this in a lighter color, so sorry if you're not going to be able to see it as well. And the one thing I do know is at 0 seconds, 0 water has come out of that faucet. That's something that's really important to remember. The math we're doing right now is really based we're going to be looking at a lot of patterns that always meet here at 0, 0. They're called proportional patterns. So, and I'm going to make a line. It's not going to connect all my dots perfectly, but it's going to go nice, close to a lot of them. And that line can have us make some predictions. So like, oh, and I want to make sure I label this one. So my red line is my kitchen. Because I'm going to draw my other one on the same graph. And we can make some predictions here. What if at 7 seconds, how many cups of water will come out of my sink? If I run my sink for 7 seconds, how many cups of water? We can go up from 7, and then we can go over, and I should make that line darker so you can see it. Okay, and that gives us, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So at 7 seconds, we have about 4 cups of water. Let's see at 8 seconds. 8 seconds. It looks like we're about 4.5, maybe a little bit more. So this graph is allowing us to make guesses on about our sinks so we don't have to run the water a bunch of times and waste a bunch of water. Now that we have data, we can start making those guesses. We can even go above 10, 11, and see where that would take us. Okay, it looks like it's a little bit above 6. And remember, this is rough data. We are graphing by hand, and so these aren't going to be perfect things. We live in a messy world. And so right now we're going to embrace that mess and know that this will allow us to get a guess that's close and not exact. But it's better than nothing. Okay, so we have our line that represents our kitchen sink. Now we have to draw our line that represents my bathroom sink. And so again, I'm going to plot some data. Okay, we're back. Technical difficulties. Okay, so where were we? Oh, I see. We were plotting bathroom data. We've already plotted our kitchen data. We've made some guesses about some other things. So now we're going to plot our bathroom data. And again, maybe you didn't have a bathroom. Maybe you had something else. I want you to plot your own data. Okay? So I'm going to plot mine. Okay, cool. So I've plotted that data. You notice I even made a little bit of a mistake right there, and I crossed it out, and I'm going to remember that that's a mistake. If I make a ton of mistakes, I might need to start over. But if I just make one mistake, cross it out. These are rough draft graphs. If this was a final draft for like a final paper, one, you'd probably be doing it on the computer. And two, you'd start over or get some white out and cross it out. But what is a rough draft? We're good with one mistake. If we have more than one mistake, it starts looking confusing and getting overwhelming. Okay, so like before, I am going to connect all of these dots to see the flow, and you'll notice that these dots are a little less in a perfect line. Maybe my sink maybe my bowl overflowed a couple times. Maybe my sink, I didn't turn it on all the way. I may have made a mistake. I doubt my sink really is changing. It's more likely that I'm messing up, but this one's a little bit rougher. So again, we're not playing connect the dots. We're kind of trying to go through the middle of them, okay? And what we know, I'm going to take that out of my mouth. We know that we're going to go through 0, 0. Because again, if we run the sync for 0 seconds, it's going to have 0 things. Not all your patterns are always going to start at 0, 0. But with the ones we do know, we can use our logic and we can start there. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Okay. So now, and I'm going to add to my key. Green line is bathroom. Okay. So here, I have a line. I have 2 lines. And again, I could make some guesses about how much at 9 seconds. I can make some guesses how much at 6 seconds using this graph. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm really right now going to work on comparing these 2 lines. So we're going to be looking at, first we're going to kind of use our brain. Which ones of our sinks are producing more water when we turn them on? And I can see that if I compare this straight, 10 seconds to 10 seconds, right? Right here, I can see that my bathroom sink has given me more water after 10 seconds. That means my bathroom sink has a higher rate of water. And I'm going to give you a sentence frame with one color, and then I'm going to fill it in. So, because we're going to start using this sentence frame on your homework today after you and we're going to talk first about my bathroom. So my bathroom has a higher rate. And what is this rate? This rate is of the water flow. Like, that's what we're thinking. We always want to put it in context. We don't want to leave it out there with this, like, rate. Math world. If I'm giving you a problem that's like just a simple graph, you can say just higher rate. But if it's in context, I want you to remember to think about what that rate is. So realize you can't see this at all, so I'm going to rewrite it with a Sharpie. And I'm going to write a sentence for my other sink. But I'm using the same sentence frame. This is when I wish I had a red Sharpie, guys. Let's see if you can see this. My kitchen has a lower, so higher is bigger, lower is smaller, rate of water. You can copy mine down, but then I also want you to write some sentences for your own. Okay. And we're going to look at one other thing, because right now we haven't really talked about this graph at all. So, we're going to talk about the steepness and the gentleness of this line. So, the two words we're going to think about. So this is like if like a guy was walking up this hill, this is steep. And if a girl was walking up this hill, this is gentle. I'm probably spelling gentle wrong. And we're going to think about the fact that if we see a graph, we're going to compare this one. Which of these two is a steeper line? Right here, this is their steeper line. I would rather walk up this gentle line than this steep line. So, a blank line has a rate. So we could think of this as a steep line has a high rate. So I could see this. Even if I didn't have my data table at all, and I just had these two lines, I could look at this line and I could see that the bathroom is steeper. And so I would know that it has a higher rate of water than my kitchen, which is a more gentle line. So even without the data table, I could start kind of making that connection that it's getting steeper faster because it's putting more water out. Because at 10, it's much higher. It's put out a whole 10 cups of water. Well, it's actually 9, but close to 10. Then my kitchen sink that is put out only 5.5 cups of water. Okay, today for your homework, one, I want you to make sure that you are filling in these sentence frames and thinking and graphing your data. So the first thing I want you to do is make sure you graph your data and write these sentence frames about your data. Not about mine, about yours. And then I want you, then there's an assignment where you're going to be practicing looking at different graphs and telling me which one has the steeper line, and then telling me whether that means it has a high rate or a low rate. And to put that rate in context, a high rate here means that it is putting more water out, and a low rate means putting less water out. So you have to look at that graph, you have to try to figure out what that graph means, and then you have to tell me what type of rate it has. Okay, that's your assignment for today. You're using these types of sentence frames. I might throw one more sentence frame in there. And that's it. Okay, thank you so much. Hopefully you guys are good. I will be available from noon to 1:30. Actually, I'll push it out. I'll be available from noon to 2 for you to check in. And then if you are in my homeroom, you have a community circle with Miss Erling at 2 o'clock. And if you're Miss Erling's homeroom, you already had yours with me today. And hopefully you had fun. Okay, you guys are awesome. Good luck. Feel free to text me, email me, or show up to Zoom if you have any questions. Okay, miss you all.